everyone, and welcome. I'm Oriel Morrison-Higgins, and I'm joined today by Simon Coyle, the Managing Director of Corazon Mining. Simon, welcome. Great to have you with us.
Thanks, Oriel. Thanks for having me.
Now, you've completed your Chalice acquisition, and you've got some great news to share with us today, because your drills haven't even started turning and you've already found high-grade gold. Take us through that. Can you update us?
Yeah. We definitely have, and that's part of the work we've been doing in the background since the acquisition of Chalice is, really pulling apart the drill hole database and understanding what the historic drilling looks like, and trying to find these areas outside the resource, which has some known mineralisation, which we can follow up with some drilling. And that main area we've seen there is to the south of the current open pit. I think there's about a 500 metre plus sort of extension of the strike of the current Chalice resource to the south there, which has got some significant drill intercepts at surface that have never been followed up, or haven't been followed up in the last sort of 10 to 15 years in any case. So it gives us a great opportunity now to push forward and really expand that resource as we thought we were going to be able to.
So talking about that mineralisation that you found it both at surface and at depth. Which one, I suppose, excites you more?
Well, they both excite me in different factors, in different ways, to be honest with you. So the low-hanging fruit for us is at surface, because it's going to be cheaper to drill that. We'll be able to drill that out a lot quicker than at depth. But what the drill holes that we've seen at depth, which aren't within the resource, gives us that hell of a lot of confidence that the down plunge extension of the underground resource is definitely there. It's going to continue to the north. It's dipping about 6 degrees, plunging down in that same direction. So they're both great to see. It's going to expand that resource, quite immensely in the near term, that's for sure. But for now, we're really going to focus on the near surface intercepts we've seen.
So, Simon, let's talk about economics for the moment, because the existing resource was calculated at a gold price of $1,700 USD. And you look at where we are now, which is above 4,000 USD, and clearly this is changing the economics of the project.
Oh, 100%. And that was one of the attractions for us to the project when we first started looking into the data room. With that 1,700 US dollar, as you touched on, that changes the way that the whole resource is constructed and estimated, which was done the last time really back in 2014. The cutoff grades then when that was done was at 1.3 grams per ton. We could bring that down now with the current gold price. The wireframing internally to the resource was done at 0.8 grams. So, we're now looking at that. If we did that at a 0.5 or a 0.3, what does that do to the resource and how does it extend it? What we're seeing it's doing is actually making the mineralisation a lot more continual. Along strike, so it's bringing in some of the outliers, if you want to call it, in terms of those drill holes, which will straight away expand the resource. And the economics, at those lower cutoff grades, is still fantastic in terms of an open pit as well as an underground situation there.
It's not only, I suppose, about the grades and where you're finding this resource, it's also about the path to production. Now, this is slightly easier for you, you'd have to say, given you're just down the road from Westgold's processing plant.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's not just Westgold, right? That region south of Kalgoorlie, south of Kambalda, Higginsville, sort of Norseman area. There's a lot of plants that are processing gold as we speak. Obviously the obvious one with Westgold being a 19.9% shareholder of Corazon now is Higginsville. That's going through an upgrade from 1.6 to 2.6 million tonnes per annum. That work's already commenced. We haven't put any OPAs or toll treat agreements in place with Westgold for the obvious reasons, to keep our options open. At the point in time that we get to that, production profile, we'll have those conversations with the right parties. But it's all about creating shareholder value in my mind, and how do we keep those margins to the largest we can. And the resource we're looking at now, and the size with potential we can see is, this may end up being a standalone operation, and we may end up putting our own plant in place, right? So we're throwing a lot of different options on the table at the moment, and it's great to have the strategy and the excitement in terms of what that looks like. And yeah, it's a really exciting times moving forward.
So when are we likely to get the next step from you, Simon? When will investors expect to hear?
So we're working through that now in terms of the drill planning. Getting hold of drill rigs in Western Australia is not that easy as we speak. Everyone's drilling all over the state. So, we're working through that now. We've been on ground, done a little bit of just remedial, some work there in terms of recon and where we're going to drill. By looking at the pit, we've had geos in the pit this last week, just doing some pit wall mapping and so forth to give ourselves that understanding of the mineralisation, and then we'll push that forward into drilling. I would have thought throughout August, we'll have drills on the ground for sure, and then we're looking at a sort of a 5,000 to 10,000 metre phase one RC program around the south of the pit majority, but we'll also put some holes to the north that surface as well. And the news flow from now on in, but the next 3 months is going to be significant with drilling and results. And yeah, it's pretty exciting times ahead.
Excellent. Well, we certainly look forward to talking to you again soon, Simon. Thanks for taking the time today.
No, thank you very much for having me.